you've broken through all these layers of threshold, which each one of them is considerable.
Yeah.
So you make it up the ladder as a bass player in one of the major recording centers on the planet, but then you do this dogleg choice that seems, as a friend of yours, just to come out of nowhere. So what precipitated that?
It's funny when you say it. I'm sitting there thinking, why did I do that? But actually, I do know. And you'll probably remember in the, let's say, 2002-ish, 3-ish, there were less cartage trucks on Music Row. The bigger companies had bought the smaller publishing companies, so there were fewer writers. So there were a couple of years that I could tell my income was down just enough to pay attention to it.
Right.
And which is something I couldn't control. Something I could control was on me. I think I started getting a little burned out, and it's really no excuse for it. But I remember thinking, I feel like I played on the same song 10,000 times. Which, right as I say that, I think about a guy like J.T. Cornfloss on guitar, who you would never ever. I mean, he brings it 100% every time. I failed right then in my attitude at that time. I had also gotten married and divorced in a 2-year span.
Wow.
I think things were heavy.
Yes.
Life got heavy.
Of course.
And music couldn't save me. It sounds dramatic, but
no.
But it couldn't.
Doesn't.
It couldn't bring. I couldn't find happiness, and I didn't see doing the same thing was going to cause any change in that.
I think this is really important, to pay attention to. I've really gotten into Carl Jung the past couple of years, and I just think there's some incredible wisdom in the Jungian psychoanalytical world. And a guy named James Hollis, who I've listened to several of his talks and read his book. The whole Jungian psychology is that when your, for lack of a better word, psyche, soul, whatever you want to call it, starts speaking up, you need to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And I think perhaps a lot of people don't. And it's easy to dismiss it because, well, yeah, but I've always done this. That's the first excuse. Or, hey, I've made money at this. I'm too old to switch.
Yeah.
Who am I to?
Yeah.
So this is, to me, Alison, the crux of the beauty of your story. And not even so much what you did, although I would definitely want to hear that, but just the willingness to say, I need to make a change. And the courage, I think it's Living an Examined Life was the book I was trying to think of. But the courage to pay attention to that and say, I am going to make a change, that's just remarkable.
Well, thank you. I will say that I started it, I was 48 years old, and I went into law school the fall of 2005. I went in with the attitude...
So you decided to go to law school?
Yeah. I talked to my father one Christmas. I guess it was the Christmas of 2004, and told him I was interested in taking the LSAT, which was coming up in February, as I found out. So I just kind of on a whim took it. I didn't take a class to do it or anything. I just went all along the way from the LSAT to getting into National School of Law to really the first year or two. I had the attitude, if I don't like it, I'll just quit. I can, I can always play.
Sure.
So it wasn't really as much of a grand design as an experiment a little bit. Like I knew that, or I was afraid that, being a single woman, getting older, maybe I was not on a path that was smart.
You must have had some attraction to the law. I mean, what made you choose that over, accounting or something?
Well, I thought it was going to be a little more black and white justice or something. I didn't go like, I'm going to go fight for justice. It wasn't like that, but I thought I would enjoy the, working for somebody and making something, like doing a good job and making a positive result happen. What I really loved was the challenge of making grades. There's something,
really?
Part of me that hadn't, gone to school in 22 28 years, I guess,
Right.
at that time. I was
Right.
back, like, I was duking it out. I was like, I wanted to make A's, and I wanted to do all that. And also, a defining moment was my very first day of law school, my father died.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he'd been in the hospital that weekend before, but they thought he was getting better, and I left. I said, bye, Daddy, on Saturday. I better get ready because school starts Monday. It was also my birthday.
Oh,
And
man.
so Monday, or in the early morning hours, he passed away in the hospital. So he had been top in his class at Alabama in law school.
Really?
So when he died, my mother was still alive, but I was thrown in a complete loop because we had been talking that when I got out of law school, he would maybe open a satellite office here, and I would be that. So there was a little.
Right.
It made sense on the initial front end for several reasons.
Right.
But then he was gone on day one, and
That's just the timing of that's
It was-
unbelievable.
and I skipped. I missed the first week of law school because of that. So I came in, and when your parents die, it just blows your mind. So my mind was blown. The only thing, it wasn't going to do any good to not do it. And so something in the fact that he had died, and my rudder was gone in my ship. But I all I could think of to do was keep doing it, and then try to honor him by being really good at this.
Turn it into fuel.
Yeah. And then I actually decided I wanted to be top of my class because he was,
Wow.
So I started hitting it like a maniac.
What a, almost tragically poetic beginning of your...
It was rough.
It sounds... you're
was
doing an
rough.
amazing restart on your profession. You didn't know how you do. I know from your bio that you end up graduating in the
did it.
top of your class in law school.
I did it.
That's amazing, Allison.
Thank you.